Welcome to our coverage of Tom's Tourney 2025. May is absolutely dazzling us here in Bruges, and there are scenes all over the shop. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury, on the call alongside Stefan Rapazzo as we bring you more from the women's division. Pool stages still, but the very last one. It's going to be Itheni versus Yaka. Names you're used to seeing, and no, I haven't had a sudden speech impediment. No one has knocked out my two front teeth. It is Itheni because it's a mixture of Itheni, Desky, and a couple of other players. You might see some smog shirts out there. And in terms of Yaka's side of things, Steph, they are missing a couple of their veterans.
Yeah, a few of the vets. I mean, the French Masters team is here, French Women's Masters. The two strongholds of the team, the captains, long time, Aline Rasta Mondiaux and Anne Leborn, not available for Yaka. And they are going to be rocking and rolling with their more youthful rendition as we get to give a little wave to you all back home. Our pleasure to be here. We get such a great setup here at Tom's, but yeah, these teams have both progressed really well throughout this pool play. It was Yaka going 4-0 thus far, unscathed. They had a very tight test with Sharks. They won on Universe Point. Itheni have only lost one game to Sharks on Universe Point as well. So this sets us up for a great battle, the end of pool play. Itheni taking a win could turn this into a three-way tie at the top, and then we'll have to test plus minus. Otherwise, Yaka could take the pool.
So Aho Longrois with the disc, looking upfield. Had Castillo running into the deep space. Lacoste Lefebvre, one of the brightest talents coming out of France. Of course, that mod medalist from last year. Centering at the back as well. Nice hang on from Castillo. Rips a big backhand. The hat goes down on the chase, but cannot deny. I think that's Van Dijk with the goal. No, it's not. It's a 26, not just a 6. It's Clara Matthias, of course.
Indeed it is Matthias, who I loved the hat rip. I was talking to Don Demarais about that. He's like, I won't wear a hat because I don't want to get caught wasting time or missing anything, having to take my hat off. And I was like, okay, fine. I think it's easy enough to do, but I get it. But Matthias did it there impeccably. But this throw by Castillo to open it up, fantastic. And I love the route Matthias took. She curled off to the right. She didn't follow the initial shape of the throw. She knew that it had some IO or OI on it as soon as it went up. She turned away, and then by the time she turned that left shoulder back, she was squared up, looking at the disc, and could take it high.
Indeed, and she actually had the momentum coming in the right way, so that it was really easy for her to actually box out Helen Barron as well, who is absolutely no slouch. So the Itheni and friends, they do have an Itheni line proper. Of course, some of the humans responsible for this Itheni get-together. You can see one of them there with the tall frame of Anna Anosevic, who is also a party leader. Funsail signalling the brick, but it'll be Nos to take it.
Party leader, and has done some work in the booth with us last year at Portimao.
Indeed, I heard she had a great day yesterday. Something involving a banana split. But
well, I'm not going to ask any more questions on that one.
I think something slip, slop, slide. But it was glorious, her teammates told me. Funsail, feisty fake, but just a pop that nearly escapes Nos. Now, Healy pops back. A little bit of cheeky zone from Yaka. Tiny touch for Funsail. Healy with some golden ribbon in the sun. Running out of time though, going to be a high store release. Just about squeezes it through to Lyndon Chang, who is on the Itheni roster this year, but is wearing a fetching Chinese Taipei jersey instead. And that's a nice easy one. I think that's Erin McGreedy with the goal. Difficult to see some of these numbers. Yeah, there she is.
There she is indeed, all smiles after the goal. Itheni, walk one in. Nice response, clean holds, one after the other. It's interesting to note that these two teams, I mean, they've matched up so many times over the year, but quite recently, in fact, as well. Just last weekend, spring tour in Leicester, they matched up in what I believe was the final game, and Itheni stole one from Yaka, or as far as they were concerned, stole one from them, but got the win and got up and took it away. So this is, I mean, this game is circled for many reasons. It's at the end of the pool play, top two seeds in the pool. Even though Atheni did drop one, it could still be for top of pool. A great start to it with two clean holds as well.
Yeah, and it is that brutal format. Only the top two teams of the women's pools of 4, which they are, will make it into the bracket. Oh, a little bit squirky for Clara Matias, but she hangs on. Of course, early season, maybe some of the connections aren't so well honed. And again, a lovely grab. Some of these Yaka discs are very challenging, but they're rising to meet that challenge. Nice inside from Swan. Launch from Bocanegra Gomez. Lovely give and go. That one well weighted into the bread box. Oh, that was just so smooth. Chloe Olivier with an absolute dime of a flick. And of course, who else? Goikolea on the end of it.
Olivier continues to impress every time I get to watch her play. She was really good in the middle there, getting the first throw across half and opened it up over to Bocanegra Gomez. As soon as it came back, she was on the upline cut, really using her legs to get going, and then the leading throw that she used to finish. Or that's the throw to Langlois that was saved, sorry. Then it goes across to Bocanegra Gomez. But here, the give and go with Lacoste, catch and wait for the upline, and then does it with a throw. She should be a shoe-in for World Games French roster.
We're still being kept waiting. You were sort of, starting to drool over this French roster, being like, when are they going to release it? When are they going to formally release it? Because there's rumours flying around, Steph, and maybe even some secret reveals on social media.
Oh, there's some reveals, and I'll tell you straight up, I know fully who's on that roster already. It has been leaked. But I'm not going to leak it to all of you.
No, we don't wish to anger the French Federation. They are our friends, after all. They hire us to cover their nationals.
But I'll say I would not be surprised if Chloe Olivier was on that roster.
Now, that is a difficult angle. Tessa Jalink coming in and getting a lot of Emma Healy. I think she's going to call the strip, but I think every right to do so. It looked like it was in her hands, but we'll have another look, perhaps. What do you reckon, Steph? That looked pretty firmly in grip.
Yeah, I mean, is it a strip being called or a foul? I mean, I think there was a foul, no matter what.
I think. Well, I'm speculating here, but when someone makes that sort of double crocodile hands grip, that tends to be I had it in my hands, both of my hands.
I'm not sure. I do think it was a strip. I do think it was a foul. So either way, I think it should stay with Itheni, and it does.
So Christy Toe. Kind of give go action. Fun sails there. All throws a little bit dicey, and that one is snaffled up. This time Jalink makes the D nice and clean.
The throw ambitious there. I'm not sure I saw as big of an opening of a window there. Jalink seemed to always be in between the throw and the receiver, the intended receiver. So a little bit ambitious, but that's the way they flow. And now it'll be Yaka's disc and Delaval, the veteran, to pick up.
Well, of course, Jalink will know the Itheni playbook very well indeed, having previously represented the club in the EUCS season. Oh, but that's a very interesting error there. Elise Becquet, just the disc slipping out of her hand like an eel.
Yeah, a little bit of a flub by Becquet.
And Booth with a big shot around. They put it up, and it is ripped down by Emma Healy.
A big... That is a break? No, that is a hold. in the end, but a great finish. Love the shape of the throw. Float that up and let it just float back down onto the intended receiver. Nice high elbow backhand to get that shape and to isolate in the end zone. A lot of hang time on a short throw. This one that ends the point. Still in a contest, but backing their receiver.
And that was a big point for Emma Healy, of course, formerly of Irish team Cork, represented UCC back in the day. Some of these, well, there you go, Desky shirts. Leanne O'Neill readying for the pull. The youngster. Just, I hope she's only 23 years of age.
No.
No, Masters eligible.
These youngsters just consistently surprising me, Hannah.
No, she is Masters eligible, so she'll be taking those exceptional throws, perhaps to that division fairly soon. Of course, EMUC later this season. And for the club division for the women's side, exciting to see that tournament happening every year, European Masters. Langlois now thinks about it, doesn't attack the shoulder, just waits for the handles to reset. Matthias with a little bit of unluck. Misfortune, that wind just popping it up.
Yeah, it's tough read, that one. You think maybe like after the fact, like why didn't you put your hands up and go? But it did look like it was going to float and she would have had the time to turn around.
Yeah, this wind is so unpredictable, but that is an absolute beaut from Helen Barron and ripped out. Wow, what a fabulous take that was under duress. Itheni, and that's got to be Amy Niven in her first outdoor tournament. Indoor athlete from Scotland, north of the border in the UK. What a recovery.
Yeah, that is a rip takeaway. I thought the defense was quite good on the closing speed to shut the door there, or to attempt to shut the door. But Niven really just went to it with a magnetism on the hand and made sure it was her and only her ripping it down.
Well, and also for Niven's first ever live stream game, it's a pleasure to finally be able to give her, well, I mean, obviously she did the hard work by making that exceptional play, but a big hello to Mummy and Daddy Niven, who apparently love Ultimate live streams. Daddy Niven also is a professional curling commentator.
Professional curling commentator, that'd be great.
Very suitable for Scotland.
Well, when I think of curling and I think of the noises made, I actually think of the players. Hurry, hurry hard, hurry hard. I do love how much they yell and scream. But I haven't really taken note of what the commentators do while the players are screaming, so I'm going to have to go back and watch some curling.
Absolutely. So we get a bit of a flip line for Yaka, the Laval bus anchoring at the back. And what looks to be a cheeky bit of either loose at the front match upfield. Oh, that's a nice little find though. All the way, Gaspard to the end zone.
Florian Gaspard. We don't have her vitals here, but very surely a youngster on this team. Put the Jets on, got past the defense, and the throw was spot on to hit. And Yaka leveled things up 3-3 with a hold there. I'm looking forward to seeing this one again, where this throw comes from. Is it Castillo? Indeed it is. Her prowess, and Castillo continues to throw with precision and with no hesitation. That is very much a main strength of Maria Castillo. She really gets it and rips it, throws hard without any hesitation. Full belief in herself, of course, just the same. And justifiably so. She's been so awesome for so long.
Absolutely. Really attacking that shoulder of the zone. She's on our list, Steph, as Viveros rather than Castillo.
Yeah.
Although Castillo on the jersey, so...
But it's often both. I know it is Maria Viveros Castillo, so sometimes maybe opting for the paternal rather than the maternal name that is usually doubled up for most Latin humans.
O'Neill finding herself against a zone. We know she loves that, but a little bit of confusion there and a miss. Slavats comes unstuck.
Good blind defense by Olivier. I don't think she touched the disc, but she was definitely in the way of being able to see that into hand.
It's one of the difficulties with zone, especially for a team with lots of pickups, but that is just a mis-execution for Delaunay. Straight into the dust, and you see Helen Barron swaggering towards it. Back in action. Nice find on the inside channel. Lots of the Smog players on this grog line. See if you can figure out the two women's team that make that woosion.
Grog.
O'Neill sends it, but it sails over the pack. I think the intended target there must have been Lizzie Colenso.
Chronicle dizziness.
Well, there's two women's teams being represented apart from Itheni.
And one of them is also
one's
British.
One's from Dublin.
Oh, Gravity.
And the other's Smog. So yeah, Gravity and Smog. Grog. But of course, I'm sat next to the king of Woosion.
I'll take that.
Matthias getting this next possession started for Yaka. Looking a little bit lost for options. Nice coverage, but they take the easy. But again, these rudimentary backhands are coming unglued for Yaka, and this is a golden opportunity now right on the doorstep.
Yeah, a little sloppiness by both sides there, but this one right in their defensive end, very tough.
O'Neill fakes the offhand, pops it, but it's too far, even for Cleaner Doyle to mop up.
And the sloppiness continues. I really thought that was it for Yaka, having a error that sloppy, that close to their end zone. That was going to be the end of the point. They are very lucky to be with disc in hand again.
Matthias gets a little bit of a touch. I think just a leg almost coming around the back of Leanne.
It's like she was doing some country dancing there, like, well, the Cotton Eye Joe, you know that dance?
I do. It's a swing your partner around and around, just endless, endless. Nice high grab for Matthias. Now, Olivier sets her sights, has nice separation in centre field. That one nearly swinging around Van Gerven.
Spun her around literally on the catch. Ooh.
Nice snatch. Delaunay with a big backhand launch. It's got plenty of time for the pack to develop underneath it. And Barron manages to box out any opportunity for Yaka with a big goal.
Back down the other end. The turnovers have mounted. And the field position has changed from end to end on multiple occasions here. Let's see how this one, it's going to feel like this point's worth more than one by the time it ends.
Absolutely, Steph. Colenso has Barron grinding up the line. Not quite the timing, but she's going to chuck it anyway with plenty of loft, but it's going to be a little bit too far, even for Heather Shaw to make it. That one almost trying to go coast to coast.
Olivier walks away wisely enough just to give Yaka some time to pick it up and at least be looking at something of structure. Matthias goes to Bocanegra Gomez.
It's easy to fall into it, isn't it, Steph? Goicolia Rodriguez. Now saucy inside, but it's just a little bit too hot to handle. Matthias with the drop. And again, Barron taking her time to make sure everything is set up nicely. Slavats almost didn't realize that one was coming. Now it's Colenso. Nice dish. Barron wants to receive the disc in power position if she can. A little squeeze for O'Neill. You see a little roll away from the sideline player. That one's just going to hang tantalizingly, but not quite in bounds.
Our turnover counter is really getting a workout right now.
My fingers are getting a workout is what you're saying.
Yes, this point
Three apiece.
Going on and on. 6 turnovers on the point thus far. And now they're trying to wonder where that disc went out. It did have a little bit of a helix about it. So it might have been like out and then back in and then back out. And obviously that's very tough to tell while it's not touching the line. This is all aerial assumptions of where it would have went out.
To be fair, Steph, considering where it was released and the channel it was trying to hit, it stayed in bounds for quite a long time. That is a nice option, but just not quite the read underneath it. A little bit squirrely at the end, and Lakanika doesn't quite make it. Colenso, that little bit of momentum, but looks at Barron to engage. Oh, that was a little bit of hesitation from Doyle. So close to being the connection. Bocanegra Gomez thinks about it. Doesn't have anything in the way of a mark. A big poach off from Barron trying to smother the lane. Now Ritu playing catch up. Nice one inside. Oh, that hammer must feel so tempting, but they're going to just try and jack it up the line. Now Matias. Lovely lead. Colea Rodriguez in the spot. And at long last, Yaka hold on after getting turned over 3 times.
7 turns on the point. A marathon of a point, making it 4-3. You're right, it would have taken some intestinal fortitude to hold off on that hammer just prior to this. But Matias had it earlier, and Bocanegra Gomez was open on the break side. But, okay, 2-3 meters, it was still not a guarantee. But I like what Bocanegra Gomez did. She continued to drag herself into the break side, opening up a bit more space on the open side. And in the end, that is precisely how Yaka found the appropriate space to hit a simple open side shot.
Well, we are back on serve, folks. That was a break. Yaka 4, Itheni 3.
Is that right? The definition of masters in women's is 30 years old. I believe that is right. We've got the response by Florian.
Oh, was that question asked? Yeah, it is 30.
Yes. I thought so, the same.
Yes, I am that and then some. I'd actually, this year would be the age out if I were a male matching athlete, which is 34.
I'll almost be masters soon.
Grandmasters, right? A true master of the sport. Not quite legends.
I'm close to great grand, but not quite.
It's all about the legends division. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
They
get the best name.
I mean, they do. Maybe one day we'll bring you coverage from that, folks. But Itheni on the charge. Van Sale dancing around. They're going to have to make a big bid. No, doesn't quite fancy it. And so instead goes off to play some deep defense. That was a nice switch on from Castillo. Swinging inside. That is a lovely find. So expansive. Castillo shooting straight back across the bows to Beckett. Of course, we had that very strange miscue earlier where this just slipped out of the hand. Extra fun because it's obviously got the gloves for grip. Castillo, far side. The movement up line. Oh, and that little turn around for Jean de Laval. Nice stuff, little bump just to make sure for Deshays. Now Abbas with their iconic backwards cap. The Dutch player throws it all away coast to coast, but Menard can't quite close the hand. The bid was there though, Steph. Full effort.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I thought the throw was on by Boss. It did hit high. These are the ones that, as a player, you want to back yourself to have. That did hit off the hand. It was sure above the head and extended, but you're going to want to get that one back. Going to play some defense now and hopefully feel responsible and play the best defense of her life.
Booth Sails it too far for Nos. Castillo. And go for the inside, but Booth gets it back. They block it. And erase their own error.
Yeah, that was a nice block. This is another one where the window closed quickly, but it was open. I talked about it earlier and saying I don't think that window ever was open. This time I do believe that there was good reason to pull the trigger, but well done to slam the door shut.
Yeah, nice trap set by Booth. Then Xiang through to Nos. That one's a little bit of a loose release, trying to connect with Han Booth. He had good separation, but the throw left a little something to be desired. So Bus with possession again. Both teams tussling with the turnovers spilling. Menard pops that through. Oh, and it's a big ripper again from Maria Castillo. Bas is underneath it. Bas turns on the Jets, and that will do very nicely. That is 3 on the charge for Yaka.
The boss, Paula Bas, puts things into 5th gear, runs that one down, lays out for the finish. Paula been doing it for years, year in, year out, whether it be through the Amsterdam clubs, played a bit with Groot, but has been a long time Machina Yaka member, doing it with the crew from Noisy. Gives the little hacky sacks side kick spike there, and takes Yaka to 5-3. It was, of course, a joy to have shot one of my Steph Potso Must Eat episodes with Paula Bas in Amsterdam.
What was their top food tip?
Well, we went and had some croquettes together that were... My mouth was burnt badly when I bit into that first croquette. They didn't mention that it was going to be lava hot, but it was delicious. We went and had some kibbling and some hotting, the raw fish that we did the head back dangle. So I had a lot of fun. It was really good fun.
Have you ever done the spaghetti thing from Lady and the Tramp with any of your food travel stuff?
Not yet, but I'm gonna have to find a romantic episode to take care of that one of these days.
Well, maybe you can shoot one in Paris. You never know. But another use of the Yaka zone to try and stifle the flow for the Grog line. To say, a lot of these Grog players love playing against zone, especially the Irish contingent. Of course, they are all cousins on this Itheni team, they were telling me. Colenso working alongside O'Neill largely. Doyle then, I still sneak through the cup, lacing them through. Barron on the near side, but there's some kind of call. I think, yes, the stray disc that will be collected by Rasta. Ali Mondiaux, of course, as we already said, cleasing up for the French Women's Masters team here at Tom's Tourney.
Right next to Nanu on the sideline, the two that are, you know, a big part of the brains trust of Yaka.
Indeed, so extra non-playing coaches. Caroline Tisson as well here in Bruges, just enjoying the vibes. Coming back from maternity leave to playing again, I'm sure.
Here with Mum and Bub.
Indeed. She's very excited to come back to playing, actually. She's kind of itching a little bit. Oh, that's a big bid. That's a tiny bit too late. Lizzie Colenso takes the damage, but no call. Just plays on. Or I probably actually know. Probably a self-call from Bocanegra Gomez.
Right into the defense there, Hannah. Now Yaka go the other way.
Indeed. Goicolea Rodriguez has beauty upfield. Soran. Oh, look at that. Nice follow through. The throw and go and throw and go. Chloe Olivier goes up high. Oh, and that just looked too easy.
Chloe Owe getting it done. Love the little slap spike after. Not a big fan of spiking, but something like that. Just put it down nice and quick with a bit of swag, a bit of style. The hockey assist there that you oohed and awed on, the outside in forehand that was quite bladey. Beautiful throw to really set that up. It really changed, and then it is Placancia in the end zone, went the other way, opened the space for Olivier. Here she goes the other way. Yeah, let me get out of here. I see Chloe coming, and gave her all the space in the world to come down with that one.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the players that really make the action, the ones touching the disc, but oftentimes it is those folks actually not really getting majorly involved, creating space. How do you clear out hard and allow for those charging through? But a timeout, I presume, being called by Itheni to try and settle the ship. We'll be back with the action very soon.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
I worked for a Michelin star chef making gelato in Paris. I had my own restaurant in Nicaragua and a food truck in Australia. Why wouldn't you watch me? Check out my YouTube channel.
We are back with the first half here in this women's division matchup at TOM'S Tourney 2025. It is an absolutely glorious day here in Belgium. Don't know if the rest of Europe is enjoying this amount of sunshine or wherever the heck you are tuning in from. If you are enjoying our coverage, feel free to hit that like button and jump in the live chats. Tell us where you're watching from or comment if you're watching on demand later.
Watching the good stuff. Great to see you all in the chat.
And Itheni, Itheni proper and some friends. Now out on the pitch, it is the Itheni line. Nos sailing through to McGreedy, formerly of Reading Ultimate fame. Hand Booth now. Oh, that is an absolute piece they throw up, but it is going to be taken away. Just Castillo on the charge. Puts that little bit of nitrous oxide in the legs.
I think there may have been a mini finger swipe by Gaspard just prior to Castillo getting the proper swat on it too.
Yeah, Gaspard, if anything, might have actually put it an easier route into the player's path. But Itheni turned again. They have conceded quite the breaks on the trot. It's been 4 unanswered goals for Yaka. Of course, they're here to do a little bit more business, but that is a spicy error. Just hit Selena Chan. I don't believe black is any of the colours of the Yaka kit. Oh, but that's a spicy inside. Nice throw from Anna Nosovic into the path of Amy Van Sale. Of course, formerly of Spice.
Van Sale from Spice to Itheni and now to Itheni. Well, still Itheni, but great use of the short field there. Way to capitalize on the errors. This gift really could not have been easier for Itheni to pick up and, you know, fire for goal. Nos here, one throw. Van Sale on the open. You know, that throw had just enough inside that it was like still beat the coverage side of the force. Didn't really have to turn around the mark too much. It was that straight line.
I love that little cheeky move as well. Van Sale just sort of looking over the shoulder and doing a little swivel on the spot, because getting away from Ellen Begelbock is not the easiest task, that is for sure. But Van Sale coming up through those junior programs in the UK, as well as we already mentioned Spice. It's been a good couple of years. She's really developing into a frontline talent for the UK.
So Hannah, I've not heard the jingle, but it's got to be coming soon.
Ah yes, the hammer time jingle to indicate half at time. Mathias squeezes it through to Langlois. Nice quick movement with the disc. Oh, that one a little bit low, but well handled by Swan Lacoste-Lefebvre. Now, Planica on the far sideline. Patient swinging from Yaka, but again, some of these throws, not quite what they draw up in their minds, and that will give a short field for a break opportunity. Barron starting it off. A little bit of dancing, doesn't quite get the separation that Barron wants, so she's going to chuck it deep. Cleaner Doyle in the end zone, but doesn't find the right spot to claim that one. Catchable, Steph.
Yeah, too much on it, just over the head. A tough read too, nearly being sandwiched by two defenders. Tough to really adjust your route. You're playing the defenders there as much as you are trying to find the best line to that disc. So the throw probably would have had to be just a bit more accurate to make that, that much more catchable than it was.
But hats off to Yaka's defense. They had Barron on at least 8 when that was released, I reckon. So more simple stuff. Yaka doing a great job of moving the disc laterally. I like the adjustment in the zone when Swan Lacoste-Lefebvre gets near the disc. That's just sort of, taking away that dump she's trying to put on this near side. But this is just trying to grind out the front jaws of the zone so they can start to shake it around and maybe find some holes. But not really making any yardage for what is now becoming a very high pass tally. Even that one is still relatively flat, even though it moves nice and laterally. Long Noir. There we go, that's a bit more shapely, but still pushing slightly negative space. Bocanegra Gomez has a little look around, thinks we've been throwing a lot of passes, not really making too many gains. Swan Lacoste-Lefebvre put a little bit more energy and vim into it. Nice find for Bocanegra Gomez. No one really attacking that break space. Lacoste-Lefebvre has Matthias sneaking into that soft side of the pitch. But this is really great containment from the Itheni zone. Now trying to attack that inside, but a little bit too much action.
Yeah, the
Matthias.
wide side of the field has so much open space that just haven't found the right throws for it.
But they do indeed sink it through at long lies. Plaganica found in the end zone. Well, that, we haven't been keeping the pass tally, Steph, but that must have been an incredible pass count.
Yeah, it's certainly the highest we've seen in this game. Yaka withstood the defensive pressure, really worked their resets. That was not even resets, it was patience and dump and swinging. They were very rarely filling the space, just going sideline to sideline, through the middle and back again. That a little bit of difficulty finding the break side in the last part of the sequence, and then as soon as they did, it was an easy route into the end zone.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure where this Hammer Time jingle is coming from. I wonder if maybe we missed it, Steph?
Yeah, we must have missed it. The speaker. So, not sure if the players know that the jingle has gone and that it should be halftime.
Well, bearing in mind that Yaka have 3 non-playing staff, and I know that Itheni have a couple of injuries. You might see a cheeky Hannah Leong wandering on the far sideline in what is a very fetching Itheni long sleeve. I'm now terrified that when we get into the actual, EUCS body of the season, I might say Itheni instead of Iceni on a live stream.
No, it won't happen.
There's a certain satisfaction to saying Itheni, though. Oh, wow, that's a vibe for Yalink. But she reels it in. This is looking not the cleanest offense we've seen out of Yaka. Delaval now. Pin to the sideline. Oh, that's great coverage of Yalink from Fonseal. Now Bus. Setting their sights. Love that release around, and a relatively easy layout for Jean Delaval. Paula knows they've got it. Bus now looking upfield. Spicy inside slice. Gonna need to reset the disc. And Yaka playing with good confidence, not minding going backwards, but that's a big effort on the layout. But Lyndon Chiang unable to interrupt Bus in the end zone. Is that the second goal for the 22?
At least, yes, I believe exactly. Second goal for Bus. I thought that was a D. From our angle, the layout looked like it really was in front. I was very surprised to see the disc continue to sail and land in the hands of Bus. Here's that layout from De La Val. Wow. She has been doing that for years. And here's the finish where I said that angle made me believe. Even there again, watch it again. I'm surprised there was no touch and that Bus caught it so cleanly. Let's see it from the air.
Oh, it's just that little bit of separation. I really like the aggressive angle with which Chiang tries to get there, but not to be. But half time here, you can see a little bit of a preview of who we've got next on our live stream warming up behind. It's going to be some lesser teams called Clapham and Mooncatchers.
Ever heard of them?
Nah, man.
Quarterfinal. One of those teams going home before the semi. That is wild. Crazy things happen at Tom's. One of these teams going home is going to be a story. We know that much.
Oh, yeah, you can bet there's going to be an interesting game happening in that quarterfinal. But we'll take a break here in the booth. Grab yourself a refreshment. We'll be right back for the second half of this women's match.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it!
The second half just beginning here in this women's pool play matchup. Barron streaking up line from the path of O'Neill. Puts that one up though. I think De La Val indeed is all over that, and she's going to shoot straight back. O'Neill, the deepest athlete there, and it is knocked out of contention. 2 turnovers in very quick fashion. So Itheni with it all to do, trailing 3 breaks in this game. Only one to their name. They struck first, but it's been Yaka who have been able to use their larger roster. And of course, they are training together in the EUCS season, whereas Itheni, a bit of a Itheni and friends affair. Some desky action and some smog athletes to boot. Ritu underneath. Everyone else relatively static, just waiting for Barron to just boost up line, but Paula Bus are going to take it away from Cleaner Doyle. That one just a little too dialed in.
Paula Bus with the end zone denial. Taketh away, made all too easy. Again, the throw was not mechanically perfect. The shape, if you put some shape around that and tried to get around the backside, sure, but trying to go through is never going to work.
Oh my goodness, that throw from static, absolutely gorgeous. Paula Bus showing us exactly what they're capable of with those powerful if petite wingspan. And that's a great grab from Goicolea Rodriguez. Gets a little bit of collateral with the player on the sideline who just wasn't paying enough attention, but that big, zesty throw was just delightful, Steph.
Yeah, Bocanegra Gomez more attuned to contributing with her legs, with her speed, being able to receive. As often, will catch, look to a handler and dump it. I like here, got the look upfield, saw and immediately threw for goal into a bit of traffic, but was looking at the defender's back, put it in the right place. Really love to see that out of Nati Bocanegra Gomez.
Well, I take it back. It wasn't a collision with anyone that wasn't paying attention. I think it was just a little bit of a clip on some legs on the follow through. Well, great attack from the defense, but seems like Itheni have found themselves backed up against a wall. Can they do anything to turn this game around, trailing 9-4? Perhaps a couple of the indulgence in some sots yesterday catching up with them as we get towards the later part of the afternoon. It's been another hot one here in Bruges. Local time is 4 p.m. So it is starting to cool off a little bit. And Nos fielding the relatively short pull. Has Booth pretty much covered in front. Now coming back. Yaka happy to let Atheni reset the disc. Don't want to see them make too much progress upfield. Very tight match coverage behind this sort of relatively loose set of three. Just showing how well they're able to communicate on defense, because Itheni similarly not making any progress down pitch, just swinging laterally. That's a nice find though to Selena Chan. Coming across to McGreed. Heather Healy, sorry. Oh, that is quite a dicey throw, but it finds Lyndon Chiang. And Itheni back on the board.
Back on the board, making it 9-5, Hannah. What a way to make a living. A nice response by Itheni. Got the Yaka defenders sucked under just enough to be able to put that behind everyone. Swan Lacoste, the closest to it, but could only leap and flail an arm there. Not even far off. The separation wasn't too much, but yeah, that's a really nice throw. Perfectly weighted, perfectly calibrated.
We really are getting an aerial display from both these teams, aren't we, Steph?
Oh yeah, there's no shyness, timidness to air things out here today on field 5 at Tom's.
So it's so nice to see that some of the shorter throws are being executed to a higher standard than they were at the beginning of the game. Of course, we are early season, folks, and Yaka have a couple of new faces that are joining the squad this season, weaving those in. Itheni, on the other hand, all pretty fairly experienced athletes at the women's club level, but a collection. And a side stack coming out of Yaka now. Castillo looks to be a little isolated, and yep, she will move first very early. Bouncing around and giving Delaval a pretty swift target. Interesting for a 1-6 side stack. That's not Matias, sorry.
Gaspar.
Indeed. Things looking a little clustered. Lots of athletes coming through from behind. Castillo just turning and burning and leaving Iziritu for dust. Well, that will work out just fine and brings Yaka to double digits.
Yeah, Ellen Begelbock did a good job to get into scoring position, but the dance moves by Castillo were really what made that goal possible there. And what I like most is kind of what she showed us earlier in the point as well. When she was isolated, she didn't wait for the disc to get kept in. She started running. And it was the same thing that happened on the scoring cut. She was charging towards Begelbach before she made a move. She didn't try to get like a hop step or a jump step from static. She started running towards the disc, got to full speed, made a move, and boy, what a move it was. When you're making moves, look at that. In the backfield, totally gets her defender, twisted up and hips turned, and when she went upfield, her 3 steps were almost automatic.
I mean, to be fair, her accelerating engine basically defies the laws of physics. So not only do you have that, attacking advantage as an offensive player, but she just has that way to, as you say, shuttle back and forth, turns on a dime, and does you any which way. So the Itheni line coming out of Atheni. A lot of hesitation there from Nosovic. She knows how valuable every single point is. Both these two teams have been succeeding well in the pool stages, but that's an error from Booth. It's going to give a short field opportunity for Yaka.
Yeah, that's a tough one right now with the game seemingly slipping away. Doubled up now, giving a free possession, a tough one to accept.
Carla Sorin puts the lead out for Matthias, who nearly had turned to go the other way, and a flip that is just so simple but devastatingly effective. Charlotte van Gerven with the goal.
Yeah, easy decision for Matthias there. Was waiting for something to happen. Got a great cut out of Van Gerven, and the throw so simple because of it.
So 11-5. This is quite the mountain for Itheni to climb. Obviously, in contrast to a club side, Steph, where you really know everybody very well. There's a lot of story and meaning going into the season. I think it's difficult, even more for these collection of teammates that friends used to playing against each other, for them to really mentally refocus and consolidate.
$11-5. About 9 minutes and change to go.
Although, it's a big question, Steph. As a coach of a certain super team, how do you find those athletes just naturally know when they're stuck in a hole how to pull themselves out of it? What's that like?
Yeah, it is. It's crazy sometimes, like how sometimes it comes from the coach, sometimes it comes from the captain, and sometimes it is just the players' ability themselves. I'll be honest, with the Tokai Super Team last year, Ine, an incredible coach, but there were moments where Ine would just say, "Hey, I'm just going to sit back and let Jimmy talk," or these people who are just like been there a million times. They don't see that deficit. They just see the next point. Let's just play this one. And that is really the mentality you always need to have.
Well, there's certainly lots of pedigree out here on the pitch. Some national champions, some European champions, and that is a champion little effort. Izzy Retu. That little hop over the goal line. Vibes impeccable. And I love the celebrations that come out of this squad. I think there's something to do with fairies. Check the social media, of course. If you're not already following Desky on social media, what are you doing? The pineapple party. What we've seen come to Tom's so often, I think this is probably a testament to the quality of the women's division this year, because usually we see many of the players who are on this Itheni roster making it into the top 8 and then having perhaps some slight issues after the main party night, where they maybe have indulged in the Tom's Tourney experience.
I call the main party something different, Hannah.
Yeah, but can you ever be really a loser at Tom's Tourney?
No, everybody here is a winner.
Pretty much.
True. Just for showing up, you have made good choices in your life. You are a winner. But I still call it the loser's party.
So as you say, it's every chance with this pool that one of these teams may be playing to stay in. Booth readying for the poll.
Now, I don't know whose warm-up music this is right now. Call Me Maybe going on. Is that Clapham, or is that?
It's a very strange, very strange thing. I think it's coming out of Clapham. Hopefully this video doesn't get ripped down from YouTube due to copyright issues.
It will not.
Olivier on the far sideline considers the rip. Oh, that nearly dishes too far for Swan Lacoste Lefebvre. Update for you folks. Sorry, giggling. Steph Rapazzo is really vibing to the Carly Rae Jepsen, but that one is not the right vibe. Bocanegra Gomez, it's too low of a release.
Low release. And this song is one of those ones it's easy to be a fake hater for and be like, oh my God, Carly Rae Jepsen, call me maybe. And then 2 seconds later, you're just breaking it down on the dance floor.
It's not really a great dancing song, I'll be honest, unless you're into really cringe hand sort of signal describing the lyrics dance moves. Chiang sinks forward. Oh, that is a beauty of a put, but just runs out of room. Booth couldn't handle it.
I don't know. Yeah, that was deceiving again from here. The choice to not make the catch must have been a step out of bounds there. I thought you still like try and make the catch. Like even selling it to myself, I would want to like make the strike and see where my toe is when it happens. There must have been some certainty.
Well, it looked like a great idea from Selena Chan to us, but we don't have the angle. Maybe one day, Steph. One day we'll have like a 12 cam setup, right?
Yeah. As they said, maybe one day we'll be out there doing it. No, not me again.
No, we've been there and done that, Steph. And I believe you've got several T-shirts to show it.
Yeah, indeed I do.
Chloe Owe on the far sideline. Now Swan Lacoste-Lefebvre. Good lateral flow. And there is our 5-minute warning jingle.
M83, Midnight City.
Indeed. Yaka looking to punch this one in and double up the scoreline of their opponents. It's being holstered in their own territory. Again,
I mean, I think it's official that it's all over but the crying right now for Atheni. But the formalities still need to be, well, formalized.
well, Yaka definitely demonstrating that they really came here to play. Langlois holding on to it for quite some time. Swan Lacoste-Lefebvre happy to just go quite far back. Good confidence, little dish. Delaunay now joining the crowd at the back. I like how Irene Coccolea Rodriguez is still stretching the deep space, the field not becoming too compressed for this Yaka side because it is a relatively calm day. And there it is, that dedicated work. Nice little bit of towing. Plenty of options. A spicy one is there. And Bocanegra Gomez, eyes on the prize and hugging the disc to her chest. Takes it to 12, a double scoreline over Itheni.
That's like a move I used to do in the pool called the butt cracker. You know, it's similar to a belly flop or a cannonball, but you just go in like in a full L-shaped seat. That's kind of what Bocanegra Gomez did to make that catch. I still thought it was a good throw by Lacoste-Lefebvre. It could have had a teensy bit more on it, so Natalia didn't have to do the butt cracker here. But here she goes, yeah, bop!
Well, I mean, that's just commitment, right? You want to have teammates that really commit to make your throws look good. But, yeah, you can understand why that one came out with quite the height to be desired at the end of it. Because it's that rapid snap. You can see Swan Lacoste-Lefebvre is really trying to make that connection quickly. If you put too much air underneath it, then suddenly that window of separation, there might be defenders that come and close in. But it worked. It wasn't the prettiest. It was a cool idea, but it was very effective. So Yaka 12, Itheni 6. Coach Tisson looking very happy on the sidelines. Raring to get back on the pitch, I'm sure.
Certainly. Waiting it out. I think there's some belief it could be ready for end of season. I think high belief that it should be ready for end of season for EUCF. Obviously a great addition. Yaka would be thrilled to have her back.
So Yaka bringing out the zone again. Has become a little bit of a battle of the zones as the game has drawn on. Ritu has Niven in the cup. but both teams are choosing to largely just use the lateral flow around. Niven now coming all the way back on this near sideline, but all the action's moving the other side. Colenso, a little bit too much on that, but well handled. I love the way that you see O'Neill shuffle forward every time she receives a relatively lateral disc. Here's a little bit, 1 step forward and then 2 steps back. And nearly the melt to match. In fact, it is indeed a melt to match. Now transition from Yaka. And pretty smooth with it. Pereaslovets puts it back to O'Neill. Oh, but that's a great inside run through D from Paula Bass.
Just what we've come to expect.
Oh, they've been putting the work in the track. You can see, and that is a golden signature on the line. Nice work from Florian Gaspard to reel it in. 13-6.
Yeah.
I don't think we've heard Sweet Little Lies yet.
No, it hasn't come yet, but what you will hear in a second is a wubba-lubba-dub-dub, because that's what that Jalink throw gets. That was awesome. Loved the turn and release, that backhand perfection, and here it is. Fleetwood Mac, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. This will be the end. It means we have to play 1 more point and then add 1. So at, I believe that's 13. So if Yaka can score again, we're going to proper points cap. We will play to 15. If Itheni score here, it's a game to 14. All things favor Yaka, very much so. That's very, just stating the obvious for you. That's our job sometimes. Would take enormous comeback potential. You know, we haven't really seen this potential from Itheni to be able to put together back-to-back breaks, let alone any breaks. They have 1 break early in the contest, so it's been quite some time. So the belief that they're going to manufacture 8, no, geez, 9 in a row.
I think even though there's, world-class athletes on both teams, you have to want it. And it's about how much you want it. That one is a great pick-off. Francesca Planica getting in exactly the right spot to not make contact and just nullify any opportunity of playing the disc. Delaunay, nice around. Oh, that required a great grab from Olivier.
Chloe Owe.
Indeed, keeping it away from Selena Chan. I'm sorry, that's Christy Toe. Nice find. Doris takes that nice edge on it. Delaunay. Lyndon Chang trying to do a little flash fake. And Matthias, that was just a really well executed, slightly loopy forehand, but perfectly into the path of Matthias.
So we're going to play to +1 on 14. As mentioned, we are playing to the standard points cap, game to 15. And Itheni have their hands full. Nice finish there by Yaka.
Yeah.
Bringing the goods. They have been getting better as the week goes on. I haven't seen much. The weekend, the near weekend goes on. I haven't seen too much of their play. A little bit in an earlier game, and I've heard and seen results. But it seems like this is the best game they've manufactured thus far, and that's good news for them going into a quarterfinal after this one. What up to all you in the chats and watching? Make sure you hit that like button. It really does do a great deal for us to get that algorithm shifting in our favor and presenting this to people who have inclination to be watching Ultimate. So hit that button. And if you're not a subscriber yet, yes, another indication. I've noticed that at some stage today we have ticked over from 28.1 to 28.2 thousand subscribers. So keep them subscriptions coming. Our appreciation levels are off the charts.
Absolutely. And you get not only high-quality European tournaments, but also our sister station down under, the founders of ULTI.TV.
Yeah, go check out what they're doing and the land down under, over in the Kiwi land across the pond, and obviously so much here in Europe.
Absolutely. Well, that's our favourite, and that's a great grab. I think that's sorry, interruption. Tessa Yarling getting the D.
Well, a chance to win it now. Put this one away.
And swaggering over De Laval to get us started. Inside slicer and the nice channel of players waiting. Oh, Castillo takes on the vision. Might be a little bit too big. It is indeed. That would have been a great way to finish, but Suzanne Hezé, unfortunately, couldn't quite make the legs.
It's another one. I'm not seeing that far line well enough. I thought a bid for it and an attempted toe drag may have offered some sort of a chance, but
I'm with you, Steph. I reckon. But also, when you've got that much of a buffer, maybe not the time to risk grazing your knees.
Yeah, fair enough. I just found it so hard to ever not lay out when there was a potential for it in a competitive game.
We are truly opposites in that capacity. The only time I've ever successfully laid out was on a live stream, though.
Okay, well, you did it at the right time.
So, Itheni just nibbling away at yards, trying to keep the game alive that little bit more. Cleaner Doyle positioning underneath it, but the better charge.
I've been very impressed with Gaspard in this game. Great work by the youngster.
Yep. Oh, that is a big old ripper underneath it. It's Bagelabok, but spills on the catch.
She was there. Everything was right. It was ripe for the picking, but the last part of the deal
fell off the last rung of the ladder, didn't she, before she could grasp it.
Exactly that.
To Barron. Shockingly, not really seen any overheads coming out of the Deski contingent for a especially very, very calm, very still day. O'Neill to Barron. Then Doyle. Doyle just staring down Barron, who just initiates O'Neill with her eyes and just throws a lovely high release backhand, and Ritu just juggling it. Nice dish, but there you go. All that grinding. You can see it takes its toll. But well done to Izzy Ritu for keeping hold of that tipped disc.
We're getting some love in the chats for the great work we're doing here. Juan, one of the brains trust of ISNO while I was there. Happy to see him watching. Of course he's watching if it's the Maison Rouge, but I know he's tuned into so much of our Ultimate as is, and you're very welcome. It's our pleasure to bring you this action. Was there a timeout that has now been rejected?
Yes. There was a timeout that was taken, so they'll add to the stall, right? L'Anglois, I think, getting a little bit misinformed there. It is interesting, Steph. So, obviously, the Noisy-le-Sec connection with ISNO. Yaka were definitely very present, very vocal on the sidelines, but I think ISNO were perhaps a little bit tired out from their game against Wall City, because they seem to have just
seemingly disappeared
dashed to the showers instead. But
I guess the one thing is Yaka did play on the very same field next. ISNO will have a quarter on another field right after this, so they do have to be somewhere else. I'm making excuses for them. I always had said to ISNO, make sure you are there for your sister team. So I do support that very much. And I know they do. I think if they could be here, they would be here.
Well, good luck to them in there. They've figured it out. We are indeed going to have our timeout, but don't go anywhere, folks. Is it still in the question for Atheni? Find out. is crunch time here in the women's final pool stages. Yaka looking very pretty on the scoreboard, 14-6 over Itheni. Taking a timeout to get a little bit of a breather, a little chat to their coaching set. The Brain Trust. Aurore Langlois to get us back in action. A little bit of this side stack, split stack isolation. There's Hayes, Castillo, and of course, very impressive athlete Florian Gaspard on the near side. So where will the isolation play come from? Flood through, Castillo grinding to the underneath. That's nice movement, going to take a bit too much though. And Tessa Yarlink, after grinding all day long, can't quite catch up. So a half field for Itheni to stretch. That grog line. Leanne opens up the cask, and that is a drink that everybody will enjoy. Cleaner Doyle. And a little sperry celebration to finish.
Extending the game, keeping the fairies on the field as they go into celebration mode. They are keeping things going. They still have their work cut out for them. I don't believe that they're going to come back, but you never know. Once a break train gets going, they are sometimes very difficult to derail.
I mean, though, the way this Yaka side, it's just got quality across the board. Being shut out for a full 7 points.
I don't see it happening.
No, I would put a significant number of euros on the line.
I would put one of my limbs on the line.
Oh, that is big. Which one? I can imagine you with a peg leg, though, Steph. I think you could pull it off.
I don't know, peg leg or hook hand? What's it going to be?
Peg leg.
Yeah, you take your mobility over your, or your dexterity over your mobility.
I mean, to be fair, Steph, I think that the world of prosthetics is making very incredible strides. I actually know of 2 separate Ultimate players that only have one leg. Well, one biological leg, I should say.
Mm.
Well, this is a good start from Yaka, moving the disc well in float. Again, still moving things relatively lateral, not gaining many yards despite the high pass tally. Oh, and there it does. The jaws of the zone clench. Nosovic picking up quickly, trying to get things going, but a little disorganized, and there is a call.
Was that on the mark? Is that the 2 of them discussing it? Was it a bump on the mark? Or are they talking about something upfield? No, yeah, it is between Matias and Nosovic.
Accepted foul. Nos looking a little bit lost and quirky, but Van Sale delivers the reset. Oh, that is such a cool release. Offhand backhand. Amy Van Sale with a little bit of flair for Lyndon Chang.
And a break. Is this the start of something?
It could
We will
be,
continue
Steph.
to express our doubt, but if our continuance of doubt expression leads to their continuance of breaking, then we're going to express it even more to give them a chance to come back in this one.
Well, this is the danger of the style of zone offense that Yaka are playing. They are very happy to move the disc laterally, but it means that those errors that come, that little bit of perhaps overconfidence that the zone then denied, it means that there is a very short field given to Itheni, and they are no slouches. They may find themselves in a bit of a hole here, but they are capable of putting together some excellent ultimate. So the second time Itheni have broken during the game, and they do so to keep the dream of the top of the pool alive.
The dream is alive. Yaka, can they slam the door here? They're going to have multiple chances of slamming.
And don't they also have a quarter-final to play at the end of today?
Oh yeah. That's why they want to get off the field as soon as possible. And I'll tell you what, the warm-up teams, they want to get on this field as soon as possible now. They've had extended warm-ups, but that is no care at all for the ladies finishing off this game.
Castillo pops back. And the Grog line choosing match defense rather than the zone. Bus chose it a little late. Oh, that is an inside forehand for days. And Castillo will be on the end of it. Easy catch, using the disc to great effect. Well, there we have it, folks. It wasn't to be for the Itheni comeback. 15-8 your final scoreline. We're going to jump out ASAP, but congrats to both teams. What a delight of a women's match that was. Next up on the slate, Clapham versus Mooncatchers. That's it for us. We'll see you for the next one.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.